Did Christopher Nolan steal the entire idea from Paprika? We'll find out in just a second.
Oh, it's time for class.
Class is in session!
Roll call! Bueller?
I'm gonna be late for class.
Bueller?
Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you're doing?
I'm late for class.
You are mine now. You belong to me.
Did you study for the test?
No more complaining. No more Mr. Kim, let me go to the bathroom. Nothing. There is no bathroom.
Welcome to Middle Class Film Class. For new listeners, this is our review episode. I'm your host for today, Pete.
I'm Tyler.
And I'm Joseph.
And we are going to be breaking down the 2006 Satoshi Kon movie, Paprika.
1, 2, 3.
In the very near future, a group of brilliant scientists have created a machine that can control our dreams. But now, the device is missing. To solve the mystery and save humanity, she must stop the dream terrorists from altering our minds. From Satoshi Kon, the acclaimed director of Perfect Blue and Tokyo Godfathers, comes a visionary tale that crosses the line between reality and imagination.
Very visual trailer.
Yeah, you gotta be on the Twitch.
Paprika.
Paprika! All right, what a trailer.
Yes.
What a trailer.
That was like high energy.
It was.
I'm freaking pumped.
Yeah.
I can't wait. So yes, this is Paprika from 2006. This is directed by Satoshi Kon, who's a visionary director who's brought us all kinds of crazy stuff over the years. Mm-hmm. And this is one that's always escaped me. It's kind of the only thing I know about it is that it's Satoshi Kon, and that it's the supposedly people say that Christopher Nolan ripped off this movie to make Inception.
Oh my God, I was going to bring that up.
That's like literally all I know about it. Here we are talking about it, and we have a friend on the back line, Bruce Purkey, who is basically co-sponsored this movie. He wanted us to review it. We had it on the fan pick wheel for a while.
Yes.
And I said, F that. Let's get it on the main feed. Bruce, are you there? Can you hear us?
Hear me.
Oh, yeah. Loud and
There
clear.
he is.
Loud and
He's
clear,
on
buddy.
the horn.
Yeah, that's right. What's up, buddy?
We could see him.
You see me too. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. Doing pretty well. I'm very curious to hear after the fact what you guys think of this movie because it's a lot.
It is. It's bonkers. It's a really weird movie. So why did you want us to review this one specifically?
I mean, Satoshi Kon is kind of beloved like in anime circles, but I still don't feel like just general movie circles talk about him that much.
Yeah.
And I know that on our previous incarnation of Cinemaddicts, which was Find Your Film, we did like a whole little mini episode on him, and we did Perfect Blue and Millennium Actress. I think Millennium Actress is probably still my favorite, but I think this one has a lot to talk about, and I feel like I thought it would be a lot of fun to hear you guys talk about this because
Yeah.
I've seen it 3 times maybe now, and it's still kind of incomprehensible to me. There's still some stuff that is kind of goofy and weird, but I still kind of love a lot of it.
Yeah, I think if you haven't seen, have you guys seen Perfect Blue? I mean, you've been stream pick, Tyler.
I've seen Perfect Blue.
Oh, you have? Okay. I feel like that's probably more of a straight ahead narrative with a little bit of psycho, an unreliable narrator mixed in. Paprika's like the whole thing. You're like, what?
Oh, yeah.
Are they in a dream still? Are they, they don't
That's
make
the
it
question, right?
They don't make it completely clear from the get go, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, for Kon, he always is trying to like
For
blend
what?
like
Sorry.
Con! Satoshi Kon.
Satoshi Kon.
Oh,
Satoshi
okay.
Kon.
Yeah. So for Satoshi Kon, like I feel like his narrative is always trying to blend reality with not reality.
Gil
His
Godfather?
I've never seen it. The only IPs that I'm aware of is one Paprika, where we're gonna talk about, and then Perfect Blue, and then also he had his finger in his pot for Paranoia Agent, which was an anime series released in 2004, which I really loved.
Oh, okay. Hey, Bruce, did Millennium Actress also have the unreliable narrator sort of thing?
Not unreliable narrator, but it's got some time bending stuff going on. So, and it's also got filmmaking aspects too, because I think he seems to be really obsessed with movies as well, like movies, and you see it in here some, you see it a lot in Millennium Actress and also Perfect Blue. So,
Yeah, I really did appreciate the sort of, her talking to him about movies. Do you like movies? And him saying no, and then it kind of determining that was all a lie.
Yes.
I enjoyed that quite a bit. It's what other filmmakers do you think does that sort of thing? Do you mean Guillermo del Toro a little bit?
What, that includes like movies within?
Kind of like movies within movies.
I mean, Nolan does that sort of.
Yeah.
I feel like with the Prestige and like the whole stage and theatrics, I feel like he kind of does that a little bit.
I would say Ari Aster has kind of adapted that sort of filmmaking style as well.
Maybe some of the psycho part of it for sure.
Yeah, just like the blending of like reality and like what is real and what it's not.
Bruce, you said out of all the movies that you guys watched for your director deep dive, what do you call it? Director Spotlight? Is that what it's called?
I think that's what it was called. Yeah, I don't know if we've done one forever, but yes.
You'd come away Millennium Actress is the best. What about Eric and Greg? Did they have a consensus?
I know Greg loved Millennium Actress to his surprise. I think Eric, I don't know. I think Eric really liked Paprika quite a bit.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, he's like, I don't know exactly what's going on in there, but I really love it a lot. I think visually it's the most insane, and it's really doing a lot of crazy stuff.
Oh, absolutely. I would agree.
I was kind of shocked by how much just nonstop. It's kind of like Akira near the end when it just gets off the rails.
Yes.
And it keeps ramping and ramping and ramping, and there's more stuff. This Parade was impressively animated.
Yeah.
If it was like, it's like a Ghibli movie, but just way more insane. Like it's like Spirited Away, but you're just the dark side of it.
It's a little bit more mature.
Yeah.
Now, Bruce, your show, the newest version of it, you've had this cosmic gangbang between Cinemaddicts and Find Your Film. And now Find Your Film still exists, but basically it's more like focused on the interview aspect. Is that right?
Yeah, and that is dwindling maybe a little bit too, but for now, yes, there's a lot of interviews over there. And then Cinematics, we have our weekly podcast where we do the 3 or 4 to 7 new movies. A lot of times they're about to come out in the theater, or they're in art house theaters, or they're just about to go streaming. So we get a lot of new stuff. And then we usually hit a few older ones too. So, and
a very, very active Facebook page as well that we all participate in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the fun. The fun part about all of it is you hit up the Cinematics Facebook group. And I was kind of like upset at myself. I kicked myself because we set up the middle class film class page, and in Facebook world, there's pages and there's groups. Pages only we, the creators, can post in. Groups, everybody can post in.
Yeah.
So I asked Joel. I was like, "Hey, post this on the middle class page." He goes, "I can't. It's not a group. It's a page."
He said, "Go screw."
Yeah, he basically said, "Kick rocks." I'll take it to Cinematics. How about that? But your guys' show now, the Cinematics, has always kind of been focusing new and upcoming movies from mainly stuff that you're not going to see on a billboard.
Lots of indie stuff, lots of indie and weird. And I mean, I must see an international movie like twice a week, which I'm fine with. I'm good with that.
Yeah, I found so many great movies from your guys' show. It's I think about different podcasts and movie podcasts in particular as a service, and like we're here to crack wise. We're here to chuckle nuts over here. And your guys' show is a true service because I found so many good movies that I never even would have heard of before. Salome was a really fun one that I liked. Meander, I haven't watched it. It's been on my list for a while, but what's the other one? Oh gosh, you guys name drop it every single episode. It's the Scottish one, the Irish one with the weird rabbit. It's like, oh gosh, I can't remember the name of it now. what's the it's the guy is chained to inside the house and he has to like
Oh yeah, I've already forgot that name of that one too. What was that one called?
it's transcended. It's like apropos or something like that.
Yeah, that's a weird movie.
Yeah, it was a weird. But I also found some stinkers, which we were zeros and ones was the punishment.
Zeros and ones, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, Tyler.
Yeah.
Somebody
I
commented.
told you.
Yeah, someone commented on one of our posts and said that he saw an interview with Ethan Hawke where he basically said the whole thing was a troll. It's hard for me to believe that. Maybe after the fact he did something, but yeah. Anyways, listeners, you should probably go listen to Cinematics. You can find it anywhere you find our show, and you'll get all kinds of great reviews. And you might hear, and Bruce is not exaggerating, they might review 7 or 8 movies in one episode and give their takes on it. And all three, Greg, Eric, and Bruce all have different takes on stuff. So you might get a 5-star review on one,
or a 1-star,
and a 1-star in the same episode, the same movie.
Great stuff.
So you can find out who you align with the most. And if I get a 1-star from Greg, I have to watch it. Greg is he's a 4-star Greg in our hearts, and
4-star Greg.
Yeah, every movie is a 4-star or above, and if it's a 2-star, it's like woof.
Yeah, Bruce, Paprika. Why? Why this movie? I'm curious.
I think that's my first question to him.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm pontificating on it.
Okay.
I apologize.
I wasn't listening, so I'm asking again.
I was listening.
I would say, Tyler, I mean, you kind of mentioned some of the things that I think are great about Satoshi Kon, and that is it. He's kind of this weird combo of, like you said, he's doing things that you see in Studio Ghibli, but you also see this kind of darkness to him, and he's also looking at, in the early thousands especially, he's really looking forward. It might look a little bit dated to some degree now, but I think a lot of it still works. A lot of stuff about fame and a lot of stuff about like online existence. And I mean, now like multiple realities and multiverses is like every movie, but the stuff he's doing in Paprika at the time, I think was probably pretty weird and strange, and it still is pretty strange in its own way. And just visually, I think because I think he started out as an animator before he was really directing. I think he did animation with a lot of big properties. I'd have to go back and check, but I want to say he might have helped with Akira, and I think he would help something with Ghost in the Shell. I might be wrong about that, but he was an animator first, so you kind of see that in this. Everything, even though it looks a little rough to some degree by today's standards, part of that is because it's hand drawn. It really feels hand drawn. And some of the stuff you see there is just really fantastic.
It says he was a part of the animation department on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in 1994 as well.
Wow.
Yes. Way back. Bruce, I figured out the name of that movie is Caveat.
Caveat, yes.
The caveat to that.
Caveat.
It gets dropped every episode on the Cinematics. Love it. Okay, so before we let you go, Bruce, we're going to get into the review for Paprika. Do you have anything, any recommendations or anything fun? Maybe people that like Paprika might like something new. I know one that I picked up from you specifically that you championed on Cinematics was Belle.
Belle, yeah. Belle is great if you want that more traditional style animation for sure. And Wolf Children, of course, was the same director. I would also suggest from this year, if you can find it, I don't know if it's, I think you can rent it online. I think you can buy physical copies. I would suggest Unicorn Wars.
Oh, yeah. I have the Blu-ray for that.
Yeah,
that's
I've never even heard
if you
of
want
that
something that's
before.
hand drawn, really beautiful at times, and very dark and very transgressive.
Oh yeah,
more teddy bear nudity than you'll probably have ever seen in anything, and probably ever will.
Teddy bear nudity.
Yes, I see. No less than like 10 teddy bear schwanzes in that,
and lots of teddy bear psychotropic drug use too. I don't know. It's an interesting movie for sure.
I love that one. That's a good pick. Okay, listeners, go check out Cinematics. It streams every single week. You can get it on every pod service and join us and Bruce on the Cinematics Facebook group.
Yes. There's some gold there.
Yeah, there is a gold in Bar Hills.
Yes.
So thank you so much for the recommendation, Bruce. I really appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah.
And Tyler, keep doing awesome.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
That's what's up. Yeah, we love Tyler just as he is, but he could do better.
He just brought it back, and then you just brought it right back in.
All right, thanks for joining us on the call, dude. I appreciate your time.
Bye.
Bye.
Later. Oh yes, what a delight.
Yes.
Do you want to go to the? I guess we could just leave it there. Okay, cool. That was fun. That was really fun. Love Bruce. Love to see his poem on our stream.
Before we do anything,
yes,
I gotta do something real quick.
Oh, you gotta fix Tyler.
Why?
You want to get him closer to the camera too?
Why? What's going on? What is this?
You're slouching.
No, I'm not. I'm sitting perfectly fine. I'm not slouching at all. I don't understand.
There we go. Nice and centered.
What would your mother say?
Hey, there we go. Beautiful.
There we go.
Okay.
We were looking like the singular wireless like bars.
Okay, so Paprika, I'm going to read the synopsis here. I'm looking at Satoshi Kon right now. When a machine that allows therapists to enter their patients' dreams is stolen, all hell breaks loose. And only a young female therapist, Paprika, can stop it. This is starring...
Not Paprika, but...
That's literally what it says.
Only Paprika can stop it.
Only Paprika can stop it. What do you mean it's not Paprika?
Paprika... go ahead.
You mean Paprika, whoever, the person under Paprika?
The person controlling Paprika?
Yeah, that's the therapist. Paprika is just the embodiment.
The avatar?
The avatar. Thank you, Joseph. Yeah, that's exactly who it is.
So in the cast, we have Megumi Hayashibara, which plays Paprika, and Chiba Atsuko, Toru Furuya, who plays Tokika Kohasaku, Koichi Yamadera, who plays Osani Mori, and a whole group of people who I've never seen before, and with a small cameo by Satoshi Kon himself playing Jin Nai, which I don't know who that was. I watched this in the original language with subtitles. Is that what you guys did?
Yeah, I did too as well, yeah.
And it really is hard to say that Inception was not at least heavily inspired by this.
Yeah.
I agree with that. It was inspired. I wouldn't say heavily.
Oh.
Okay, we'll get into that in a little bit. But
yeah, we can get into
But I
that.
will say that I've always seen the hallway scene referenced with Joseph Gordon-Levitt fighting that one guy in the hallway and it spinning and turning and stuff.
Yes,
It's referenced in reference to this with the detective guy who's like stuck in that hallway.
Yeah.
Completely different, in my opinion. I thought I was going to be looking like a shot-for-shot remake and two people fighting in a hallway and it turning and stuff like that, but it wasn't that. It just keeps showing this hallway, and he's in a suit, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt's in a suit, and it kind of has a little bit of a time warp dream aspect, but it's totally different.
I mean, it's inspired, but like it's not a shot-for-shot remake.
Oh,
Not
so
like,
now it's not heavily inspired.
No, I still think that the movie itself is heavily inspired. If I had never seen Inception before, I would be like, holy shit, how, they're in a dream, and then, oh shit, there's actually a dream within a dream.
It's a dream within a dream.
Yeah. But anyways, let's go around the room and give our initial reactions. Tyler, this is your first watch?
Yes, this is my first watch, and I have been meaning to watch Paprika before, and I just, I never got around to it. So upon my initial viewing, this is a very heady movie, just because, and I found myself having to like go back like 15 to 20 seconds like into scenes to make sure I didn't miss anything, because some of the transitions are very violent.
Yeah.
Like, and I, not like physical violence, but it's like, it's a very violent transition of whether this is a dream or reality. And like, what I really like about this movie is like, it really questions the audience whether or not is this the dream, especially towards the end too. Like, you're thinking to yourself, okay, so like, is this a dream, or like, is this just like reality converging with like the conglomerate of like the population's dreams? Like it's a very heady movie, I could say. And I liked it. I think Perfect Blue was a bit better as far as a narrative sense, but this movie definitely, like with its writing and its dialogue and everything, I think that it was really it's just a really good movie. Like it's a really good movie. Like, the animation is done very smoothly, and like Bruce was saying at the top of the show, like it feels like it's hand drawn. And you can definitely see that. And for it came out in 2006. The production probably started like in 2004, like at the latest. And I think that you can really tell that there was care into the craft that went into this film. And I think the prevailing thing that I've seen like on the internet about Paprika is that they were disappointed because the director has just done so many great things, and this just didn't hit the mark for a lot of people. But that's not me though. I thought this was really, really entertaining, and after the credits rolled, I was thinking like, what the hell did I just watch? What the hell did I just watch?
Yeah, that's fair.
But I enjoyed myself. It wasn't like, what the hell did I just watch? Because like I was like, what was this? Like it was just like it's a lot to take in.
Sure.
It's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that I watched it, and I'm glad that we can kibitz about it.
Cool. Awesome. Joseph, what was your initial reaction? First watch.
Yes, definitely first watch for me. And just like you, I that was like my knowledge of it, was that there was like the side-by-side comparisons of like the mirror breaking and the hallway, and also that's Perfect Blue and Requiem for a Dream, but same director though. So that was like my extent of knowledge.
That was like your baseline
of this movie. So I was like, I knew that was gonna come. I didn't realize how like essentially how repetitive everything is in this movie.
Yeah.
As far as like, it's like we're replaying the same scenes over and over again with slight different variations, or what scene was like a certain scene has an additional person who is now in the dream, who's like in a catatonic state or a comatose basically.
Yeah.
And so it just like a snowball, the movie just kept getting like more and more like you guys ever played Katamari Damacy?
Oh yeah.
It's like that ball that is just going bigger and bigger and bigger and gathering more and more and stuff.
Yeah.
And what at one point I was like, this is like I'm being vomited on with color. Like it was just like attacking me with all these visuals, which were great. And the movie, this is 2006, right?
Yeah, 2006, yeah.
It feels older. It feels like it was made in the 90s.
Right.
But I guess that just is how like the hand-drawn style looks.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any modern examples of hand-drawn animation that look like they would have been made in 2020 or like in the last 10 years. But yeah, this when was Perfect Blue released? That was
97.
That was in the 90s.
Yeah.
And
It feels a little grainier in the 90s version, but
there's
but
definitely
I know what you mean.
I feel like there are elements of the movie that are like they're 90s-ish, like the sort of 3D elements that they include from time to time.
Sure.
But yeah, much like Tyler, I was like, I don't know what to think about this. What did I just watch? I watched like a much more insane version of a Ghibli movie, and a much more dark and mature version of that. A rated R Ghibli movie.
That's a good
Was it
way
rated R?
I don't know,
don't
but
even
that's what it felt like.
I don't even know if it had a rating.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
It is rated R.
You see boob.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess you do, yeah. And you see a tuchus, too.
Tharpy boobs.
Yeah, you see boob.
I
And
think the disturbing elements of it are probably enough to give it an R2. Where
also like
she's getting unzipped.
the weird, like, the sexual, like, I could, make me get rough with you. You're like,
Yeah, that was a little shaky.
Yeah, it's weird. But there was a lot of like, kind of like self-referential aspects to it, like we were talking about with Bruce, with like the movies and the movie posters. Like you see Tokyo Godfather in the movie.
Yeah.
And like you are in a movie theater watching these dreams play out.
Very much like Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, a little bit.
Movie ends and they cuts back and everyone's cheering for the ending and then it keeps going.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what?
So yeah, it's definitely a definition of like a mind fuck.
Yeah.
Like it definitely is a mind bender. That there's, Bruce has seen it multiple times, I assume, and he still finds it incomprehensible, like he said. I can't even imagine that how many times I'd have to watch this without reading anything about it to begin to comprehend what is happening in front of me.
More or less comprehensive than Primer?
No.
Primer's more straightforward.
Oh, wow. That's a hot take right there.
That is a hot take
Is it?
because Primer is very...
Primer, I understand what is going on in the movie, and like there's only two characters, and I understand what they're
I
doing.
see what you're saying.
I don't
yeah.
like the Primer's not supposed to mean anything. I don't think. Well,
No, it's just a straight ahead time
It's not like a
travel.
comment on anything. It's not as like there's no
social commentary or
message
anything,
behind
yeah.
it. I feel like Paprika possibly has. and then how the visuals or the plot relate to that or makes the connection. And it's like, oh, the old man who's asleep and he jumps out the window and then he's alive, but he's in a coma. And then I don't know.
I agree. There's definitely some confusing points of just in the plot in this movie.
But yeah, I mean, I can't really say that it was bad, and I did not like it, but it's not something that I feel like
you want to watch again.
I feel like I have to watch it again, but
you don't want to.
Don't feel like watching it again right away.
Okay.
I mean, it's only an hour and a half. It didn't feel long. It didn't feel like
felt normal.
It didn't feel like a chore because things are constantly happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard. I don't know where I land on it. It's kind of I'm confused.
Interesting.
I'm confused.
Cool.
But yeah.
All right. So this is my first watch. This was technically my pick, but also Bruce's pick. And yeah, the first, if Inception had never been made, that first scene, I don't know if I would have gathered that it was a dream. I would have thought, oh, this is just a fantasy movie, because he's in the circus and all the, much like the Affect Twin music video with all the guys with the little faces.
Yeah.
I think it's called Come to Daddy or something like that. Or Window. I think it's Come to Daddy's, that music video. And you see all the creepy guys, kids and adults with the same guy's face.
Yeah,
You're like, oh, this is creepy.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to another part of the dream, and it cuts to another part of the dream. As soon as it got a little bit into that, I'm like, oh, he's in a dream. And if I had never seen Inception, I wouldn't have probably guessed that. I would have assumed it was some sort of a fantasy.
The clown getting out of the comically small car didn't indicate that it was a dream.
It could have been a fantasy,
okay.
It could have, instead of being a dream set in a realistic portrayed, sci-fi.
I could see that. Yeah.
It's unfortunate that it has that stigma because the entire movie, I'm comparing it to Inception.
Really?
And yeah, I really was. The whole time I'm like, oh, this is just like Jogo. Oh, he's the stand-in for this character. And then in the hallway scene, when it keeps revealing the hallway and the guy's dying and you can't see the back of you can only see the back of his head. I was like, that's like how he can't even see his kids' faces in Leo's faces every time he sees that same dream. And I was thinking, oh, is that like going to be his brother that died and he's trying to solve it through this dream, and he's trying to determine if he's actually in a dream. And the whole thing, I'm like, when it was all at the end, I was like, is this the whole movie that we've been watching a dream? And how deep does it go? And it helped. I think it helped make the movie a little bit more comprehensible, knowing the structure of a dream and then the concept of a dream within a dream. Because the movie does, to its credit, it doesn't spoon feed the audience. But I think with this kind of movie, you have to a little bit. So when you're watching Inception, they do a good job of doing that exposition dump, and it's like Tom Hardy talking with, Leo's character about
Cobb.
Yeah, about going in deeper, and if you're gonna go 3 levels deep, you have to have this type of sedation, and we got to go to the Far East to find it. And blah blah
There's
blah.
like limbo and stuff like that.
They really. I mean, it's not a ripoff of Paprika, but goddamn, is it really heavily inspired by it. Like, that movie would never exist without this movie.
I completely agree. And I mean, it seems like around the table we all enjoyed ourselves watching this film.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was impressive. I think impressive and entertaining. It wasn't. I think Perfect Blue was quite a bit better as far as just a tight narrative, but way more disturbing. Like, this was more fun to watch. And I liked watching the parade scene kind of over and over again and picking up little kind of pieces in the parade. Like, oh, there's the frogs here, and oh, there's this guy there. And I liked how they would take the characters and just like reimagine them as different things. Like the big fat guy that invented the thing.
Oh yeah.
He turns into the robot, and you're like, oh yeah, he's in this robot face now. That's kind of fun.
I'm happy to hear that everyone enjoyed it, because I really enjoyed myself.
I'm still talking.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Go ahead.
Watching the movie through the lens of Inception, I think helped with the comprehension of the movie, but it also took away from just the inventiveness of it. And I was like, oh, I've seen this before, but they can do it in a better way in Paprika, in a sense that there's not in Inception, there's not so much like fantastical, ridiculous things that are happening. There's no frogs on parade. There's no talking dolls. There's no psycho sequences. But it's like, you're in an action movie here, and then you're in a drama movie here, and you're in this. It's almost like real versions of life, and they don't do that in this. You know, to the credit of Nolan, he played within his own wheelhouse, and really, I fucking love Inception. I think the people that will talk about it has it's like this bro-y movie that you watch if you say, "Oh, Inception is one of my favorite movies," and you're like pretending to be smart, that sort of thing.
Oh yeah,
I've heard people
like pseudo like intellect.
You don't get it, man.
Yeah, and it's like
I got it first watch.
It's a really well done, super entertaining sci-fi movie. I fucking love Inception. It's great.
Yeah, it's good.
I also love this for different reasons, but I don't think it's quite to the level for me of Inception.
Yeah, it's different, I guess. I mean, the two different mediums, animation and because like to some people, the animation might be more impressive or more alluring than like a live action because there is limitations. Obviously, Nolan really likes to push those limitations.
Yeah,
and I feel like Inception is probably of his movies that and like Interstellar are like the visual limitations when it comes to live action movies and the way he does them. Like I feel like.
It's really he's on that precipice of doing the impossible.
Yeah.
And the funny thing too is that knowing Bruce and listening to his show for so many years, he's not a Nolan fan. He's like an anti-Nolan fan.
Oh my god!
It's funny to see that he loves Paprika so much, and maybe it's because Nolan bastardized it and took so much of it to make his own that's lesser version in Bruce's mind.
I actually kind of agree with that assessment with Nolan bastardizing the storyline of Paprika because when I was watching Paprika, like you said, Pete, like I definitely was getting a lot of like Inception vibes, and like I think like at the 30-minute mark, I was like, oh my god, like this, like did Nolan just watch this movie and he's like, I'm gonna make a movie about dreams too?
Yeah.
And
yes, literally yes, I'm sure.
But what I really liked about Paprika is that like it didn't hold your hand throughout. Like you really had to pay attention.
I still think I could have used a little bit more hand holding, and I don't usually say that. Now, the last thing I'll say before we get into the rest of the discussion is in Tim Burton's Big Fish. That is, in my opinion, is one of my favorite Burton movies. It may be my favorite. Yeah, in the movie, it's his most realistic movie. It has almost short of maybe Ed Wood, Yeah. But it's his most realistic movie because the movie is told in a very realistic manner. Only time you're outside of the confines of our world's rules is when he's telling a story.
Sure.
And in this, that's very similar. In Inception, again, I don't want to keep harping on it, but it goes into the dream world, and it's still the real world. And in Paprika, he goes in the dream world, and it's clearly, obviously a dream world. First shot in one of the dream sequences, she's flying on a cloud.
Yeah.
A la Dragon Ball Z. With
do you know
wild Nimbus?
Now
or
who's
like
ripping off who?
You knew it. I was going to ask you. Do you know what the cloud is? It's the Nimbus.
Yes, the Nimbus. Yeah, the flying Nimbus. But yeah, again, thank you, Joseph. Who's ripping off who? So yeah, I had a really good time with it. I enjoyed myself quite a bit, and I'm glad I finally watched it.
Oh, that's great to hear. I'm glad that we're all on the same page.
I don't think Joseph liked it nearly as much as you and I did, though.
I don't know. Like I mean, like it was a great animated film, and like you guys said, like it's a R-rated Ghibli film, and I completely agree with that because it has the wholesome sort of aspect to like what the main character Paprika, like she's definitely very wholesome. She's fun. She's obviously the hero of the film, and
she's a fox too.
Yeah, she's a robo babe.
That is true. And I mean,
she's my dream woman.
She sacrificed herself.
Would you guys be upset if I pronounced paprika?
No,
paprika.
That's actually how most countries call it. Paprika.
Is that right?
Yeah. Like,
oh my god.
You ever heard the recipe chicken paprikash?
Yeah.
That's just paprika with sh at the end. Paprika.
Paprikash.
Anyways,
chicken paprikash. It's a Hungarian dish, mind you. Brianna makes that. It's one of her recipes from her mom.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, she makes it quite a bit.
Let's look up a recipe how to make paprikash.
This isn't a food show, but what I really like this movie is about this movie is that like it does not hold the audience into what reality is and what a dream sequence is. And that's what keeps you on the edge of your seat. There's definitely sequences.
Sorry.
You're fine.
Oh,
good.
yeah, we're going to Target now. Okay. But what I really like about this movie is that just like the very quick dialogue changes, like when people get like insane from this dream terrorist.
Yeah.
And they start saying, like, they start rambling on nonsense, like just abject nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I had to like go back like 10 seconds every, like, not every time, but like a few times.
Did it take you 2.5 hours to watch this 90-minute movie?
No, don't you laugh at that.
What he means when he says he has to rewind, he means he fell asleep, and so he had to rewind.
Yeah, that's right. You know, my narcolepsy.
Did you watch that this morning?
I did, yes.
Oh, okay.
No, so the reason why I had to like rewind it is because like
delicious.
when they started talking abject nonsense, like, and I would like, you know, like go to like, you know, have a drink of water or something like that, and then they started like spouting out things like on a second. Like they started spouting.
Gossip Girl is writing her next email right now.
They started spouting. Oh God, Gossip Girl.
Gossip Girl, who are you?
I have a bone to pick with that person.
There's a new. So I read that to Brianna. That emailed to Brianna, and she goes, I wonder if it's basically like a youngster too, because they just have the new series. The Gossip Girl's an old series.
Yeah.
And then they have a new series, and it's like somebody who knows what's happening in the town, and they're writing emails out or some shit like that. Mm-hmm. And she's like, "That's a terrible show. The new version of the show is terrible." Supposedly.
I don't doubt it. But anyways,
she's trying to keep you honest. Tyler.
So well, okay, fine. God bless her. But I found myself rewinding.
Is that chicken paprikash?
Yes, it is.
Oh, that looks delicious.
That's
not the way that Brianna makes it.
I found myself okay. Are we getting into our food?
It's a delicious movie.
You're getting into your food panel now.
This was my favorite part about the movie is when they made the chicken paprikash.
So, anyways, can I finish? Can I finish my goddamn point?
Yeah, sure. Just keep talking.
I found myself rewinding about every 10 or 15 seconds when the people started going insane because I thought I missed something. Like I thought because like I watched it in the original language, and so I had to watch it with subtitles. So I wanted to make sure like I was like understanding the plot points and. No, the people just go insane because they're being invaded, much like Inception.
Yeah.
They're being incepted.
Incepted. I can hear you rustling over there.
Oh, your windbreaker. The loudest garment you can wear for a jacket.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll try to. But anyways.
Tyler's wearing a jacket that's made out of sunchip bags.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That a plastic cake container you get at the grocery store.
You know, the one thing that this movie doesn't have that Inception does, and this is where the big like plot arc is. I mean, the world that it lives in and the rules that it lives by is pretty much the same. It's like it's a machine that you can put on somebody. I mean, in this version though, it's almost like once you've been hooked, you're open game for fucking ever. Like
like that. The rules of it are just like. You have this thing, you do it once, you put the Hunka Chunka helmets on, and then and then
good call. Good call right there.
Yeah, now who's ripping off who?
Yeah, that's right.
What the fuck?
And then Demolition Man.
Yeah, there you go.
And then they're just receptive to just being transported into a dream-like state. It's so trippy.
It is weird, but in this, there's no what's the ulterior motive of the people? Like, what's the whole end game of the people who stole the
mini DCs?
I mean, DC. we're getting into the spoiler.
We're in it.
Okay, so the chairman of the medical board, or the psychological medical board that is in charge of this department,
looks delicious.
He is the one who is ultimately the antagonist of the whole film because he wants to. Oh my god, he is hypnotized by this dish that Joseph is putting on. Put that off the screen.
Don't get sidetracked. Keep going.
But
let me watch my chicken. Let me watch my chicken.
But so ultimately, the chairman of this medical board is like behind the atrocities that are happening.
yeah, but what
towards-
was his end game though? What did he want?
So at the end of, I guess towards the end of the movie, he wanted to be like this nihilistic, omnipotent sort of being that can control people's dreams, but he wanted to verge it into reality. He was just like, basically, he was just a madman. He was a madman.
See,
and
And this was the old man.
Yeah, the old man.
He was the Xavier of this universe.
My problem with the stories like that really is like, to what end, right? We like to say that in the show. To what end? Why? Why? Like when you're like this evil villain or whatever, you're like, I'm gonna destroy the world. What? Why? What are you gonna do then?
I can answer that question for you right now. Is because he wanted to walk again. Because if you remember, if you remember at the end of the movie when he becomes that giant shadow person, he says a line
That was pretty cool. I like the giant shadow person.
He says a line like, "I can finally walk on my own again."
Yeah.
Like that was his
That's
end
great,
goal.
but you don't have to enslave the rest of the world for that. Just live in VR for the rest of your life.
Because he's a madman. That's the whole thing.
I get it, but I don't understand who would want that. You know, you're like whatever the super villain of the fucking Justice League or whatever, and they're like, I'm gonna turn all this like Ra's al Ghul in Batman Begins. I'm gonna just make the whole world fearful. Okay, why?
I mean,
what? How does that benefit you?
Because I want them to be scared.
But
that's like is that it?
actually,
Get a bunch of money and then fuck
is
off, so you don't have to see you again. Live a good life until you're dead.
this is not a perfect segue, but I wanted to ask you fellas this: would you want to record your dreams and watch them?
Hell yeah. Hell yes.
Really,
Yes,
really,
absolutely.
Oh my god, I wouldn't.
Really?
I wouldn't.
Some
I
of
would.
them.
I would be
The
too
ones that I
s-
forgot.
That's what I'm saying. I want to
be too
record them,
scared. I'd be too scared.
but just don't watch them.
You don't. What do you remember your dreams?
Yeah, kind of like bits and pieces.
Like I mean, obviously it's not always.
like,
all the time.
Hey,
Like
Joseph,
you
go to 3.
You remember your dreams from like all the time, or like I remember like my dream from last night very vividly, or I don't remember what I dreamt last night. Or
I
remember
thought you were gonna go into a chunk about what you dreamt last night.
No, I'm just giving you an example.
Yeah, I dreamt that I was in a mass shooting massacre last night.
Oh.
that was pretty terrifying.
That would be one that you just don't revisit. Oh yeah. It was the Cat in the Hat that did it.
No, it wasn't. But yeah, like I was thinking about like the ethics of. This is why I really like this movie too, because it really like it makes you think like what can you get like therapeutically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the goal.
Also, a little of The Cell, which came out before this, where they're able to go into the dreams. Joseph's over here. Joseph's
Now who's ripping off who?
Joseph's
Throwing up his hand.
determined to not have an anti-Nolan take on this.
But
How much is he paying you, Joseph? Nolan. How much is he paying you?
You have no idea.
I thought a lot of the animation, like especially in the beginning of the movie.
You didn't even let me answer.
Wait, you already said. You said yes. You said absolutely yes.
Yeah, but I want to watch it so I think there's a lot of interesting things that your mind comes up with on its own, and you can never quite put it quantitatively put it back together once you're awake. I think there would be a wonderful amount of like insane movies that come ideas from that, because people are creative. But sometimes like in your conscious hours, you don't have the wherewithal to be able to connect the dots with all those like crazy thoughts that are going through your head. You know what I mean?
That is so ironic that you say that, because in the movie Paprika, the titular character Paprika says when she's with the police detective when they're in the movie theater, she says like, "Oh, your dreams could be like blockbusters," or like dreams could be blockbusters, or something like to that effect.
I mean, a lot of writers, I think, keep notepads by their end table, and they wake up from a dream and they just jot those notes down.
Oh yeah, I've heard of.
But if you don't have to worry about that, all you gotta do is just download that dream.
Isn't it like that other movie, the much newer one? There's like a sci-fi. They're in the dream at the end of the movie. She's like still in the dream, or she's in a coma.
Oh,
Come True, Come Play, Come True.
Oh, yeah, Come True.
That's a dream one. Right?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good one. That's another one that Bruce is a big fan of as well.
That came out like a year, 2 years ago.
A couple years ago, yeah. So there's that. There's The Cell. There's the entering into the dreams. There's a little bit of maybe Eternal Sunshine here, except for its memories, not so much dreams. But in his dreams, he's replaying his memories. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a snake eating its own tail.
And there's kind of a Matrix sort of feel to it as well, because when the police detective shoots one of the main bad guys in the back, when he's in his like traumatic dream,
Like when he finally fires the gun.
yeah, when he finally fires the gun, he actually dies in real life. And I really love that scene where Chiba, who Paprika was the avatar for Chiba, she finally gets waken up by the chief of medicine, I guess, or the chief of psychology. I'm not sure. And they're sitting in the hospital bedroom. And then in the background, you can see like a bloody handprint smear the window. And they don't even notice it because like they just like came out like of this traumatic sort of experience. And eventually they like notice it and he's shot dead. And so like that's what happens in the Matrix though too, is when you die in the Matrix, like you die in real life.
Unlike in Inception, where you
die,
die
you just
in the
wake
dream,
up.
you just wake up.
And
Or you go into limbo, right?
Yeah,
If
if you're too deep.
And actually, that's kind of what I liked about like the comparison of Inception and Paprika too, is because the parade was like sort of like this vehicle of where if you go along with the parade long enough, like you just you don't
You lose yourself.
you lose yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they don't really explain that in the movie, but it's really heavily implied. And I think Paprika said something like you're losing your brain or something like that. Like,
Well, Paprika stole from the cell, and then Inception stole from Paprika, and then Come True stole from all of them. It's just what's
It's
one
all
big
theft.
circle.
Bruce says
it's all theft.
we need a movie rip-off timeline. So like
How
what
far
was
back does it go?
was the first movie to introduce this idea, and then every other movie after that to bring off that movie.
What's that saying? Standing on the shoulders of giants.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
Who are the giants? It's like the East Island. It's like there's more underneath the ground.
oh shit. Also, from a little note from Bruce in the chat, he said that Aronofsky actually paid for the rights for Perfect Blue. So that
he did.
So he could use and recreate shots in Requiem for a Dream, as well as using shots and themes in Black Swan.
How do you?
Black Swan. Wow.
How do you pay for the rights? Like what exactly are you paying for?
He probably
I imagine it's like
Just,
using-
I'll give you $50 and let me use that bathtub scene.
yeah, probably a little bit more than 50.
I mean,
bucks.
yeah, it's probably more than
like 75.
probably gave
just
him a
painting a
couple of C
picture.
notes. But I
How much we would pay for it?
how much? $50. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I could probably put in like $75.
Speaking of which, did you guys see that shot for shot like it's a fake ripoff of that new rom-com Anyone But You?
Oh yeah.
And Nathan Fielder from The Curse.
Yeah.
I started watching that, by the way.
I did
Yeah.
see that.
The first
I did see that.
first two episodes are fantastic, cringy as all can get out. This is the Curse on Showtime. You get new Nathan Fielder, Benny Safdie, Emma Stone joint.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fucking great.
Emma Stone is involved.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, it's really good. It met my expectations. But anyways,
There was definitely a lot of like Akira inspiration.
yeah, it's hard not
like,
to think
towards,
of Akira in this.
Towards the end, they call him Old Baldy. Paprika does like, oh, I know an old Baldy. Like she says that throughout the film. Like you sound like someone that I know who's an old.
Rest
Baldy.
in peace, Satoshi Kon. By the way.
Yeah, rip,
Oh yeah.
rip.
Rip.
I have a few trivia bits I'm going to read. This is just from IMDb.
Okay.
Yeah.
When Paprika is interviewing Konakawa in his filmmaker getup, his mannerisms and appearance looks very much like Akira Kurosawa, which is a wonderful homage.
Yes.
The two bartenders ripped off from The Shining.
Yeah. That was very obvious.
The tall and short bartender are voiced by Satoshi Kon himself and the original author of the Paprika novel, Yatsutaka Tutsui.
Oh, I didn't know it was a novel.
I didn't know that either.
Wow.
I guess we're finding that right now. So when was that made? When was that written?
What?
And they ripped off Paprika, the novel.
Oh.
Okay, let's see here. Paprika is the last feature-length film for Satoshi Kon, who died in 2010 from pancreatic cancer.
Ugh, what a terrible way.
Same way that took Steve Jobs and Andy Kaufman, right?
Yeah.
No, Andy Kaufman had lung cancer.
Oh, lung cancer. Okay.
And Alex Trebek.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Alex
you're right.
Trebek had pancreatic cancer.
While trying to escape from being captured, Paprika enters a room with numerous classical paintings on the theme of Oedipus and the Sphinx. The painting she enters is by Gustave Moreau, the original held at the Met in New York. It's not that interesting.
Moreau, he's an incredible painter.
And then, yes, at the end of the film, when Kogawa Toshimi finally goes to the movies, the camera slowly scrolls over some of the posters, and the most visible ones are for Satoshi Kon's three most recent movies:
Perfect
Blue, Millennium Actress, and Tokyo Godfathers.
Yeah, I did notice that. That was very obvious. Yeah, that's great trivia.
Any other scenes that stuck out to you guys? Do you want to kind of mention before we wrap this up?
Yes, I do. I wouldn't call the police detective a main character. Like, he's prevalent.
I don't know.
But
He's kind of the main character.
Is he?
Yeah, kind of.
He's like second build.
Yeah.
Yeah. His
Off with him.
Mm-hmm.
His like phobia of the number 17 was very interesting to me.
Very Jim
And,
Carrey-esque.
And yeah, the number 23.
It all comes back. 2 plus 3 equals 5. 5 divided by 23 equals 17.3. It all comes back.
I really liked how that wrapped up, because 17 was when he lost his best friend, and like he has like a little bit of a monologue about how, and he's like, I can't remember who he's explaining to about the significance of the number 17. Oh, it's the two bartenders.
Yeah.
And he like starts like he like repressed those memories of his like best friend dying, because like they would always talk about like movies and like how like they wanted to make a movie and stuff like that. But then like his friend didn't tell him that he was sick, and then he eventually passed away, unfortunately. And that made him,
that sucks. That would suck.
and that made him go to be a police detective, because he always wanted to make a movie about being a police detective. So he figured, and like there's like this like his friend and him, like they're talking and they're saying like the friend says, that's the reason why you became a police officer, is because you wanted to play the role in real life. And it just that just hit me like a ton of bricks. That hit me like a ton of bricks.
Tyler, what role do you want to play in real life?
Batman.
Yeah, probably Batman.
Besides a real role.
Oh, a real role.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not really significant in the game of life.
You
so,
are. Don't.
So I'm just
You're here spinning noise for all the classmates to hear. Is that your role in life, podcaster?
Can I say podcaster or Dave Damashek?
No, you can't say Dave Damashek. That name is banned from the show.
All right, fine.
But you can't say podcaster, because that's what you are.
But anyways,
You're there, man. You did it.
I think what this movie is like really successful in is that it has like a bunch of these like moral plot points, and you don't really care about like the overarching plot about this dream terrorist. It's more about like these like small vignettes that happen, and that's the thing that I took away from this movie the most. Is, of course, it is a very interesting concept, and I really appreciate like me having to like, I mean, if I'm having to rewind movies just to make sure I didn't miss anything, like I feel like that's like a really good like indicator that this movie is like very thought provoking.
You already just kind of gave your breakdown on it. Why don't you give us a grade while you're at it?
Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely an A. It's
Okay.
a solid A. Like the animation's great. Definitely like all of the dialogue, and I couldn't even imagine watching this in English subtitles either.
Or stoned.
Yeah, I don't partake, but I think that if you have to read the subtitles in this movie, it definitely hits you better than if you were just, because I feel like if you're watching it in an English sub, you're just, or English dub, I should say. My apologies. And you would just kind of like zone out. But if you have to if you have to read like the lines like on the screen, like you're definitely paying attention a lot more. And this is a movie that definitely needs to be paid attention to. Okay. So yeah, solid A from myself.
All right, Joseph, how do you grade Paprika?
I don't know.
It's a tough one, yeah.
I don't know, because it didn't really leave an impact on me. It's impressive, like technically in animation, and the story is literally all over the place in terms of just me trying to understand it.
You can give us 2 grades, like your personal impression and then the technical aspect if you want.
I mean, technical impression would be like an A or an A plus because it's just insane. It's just an insane insane animation.
Insanely creative.
Yeah, and just really, really bonkers. And then the plot is also bonkers too.
Yeah.
And then what everything means and like fusing like with people, like they're doing like their own shunting and the old man is like Voldemort with that other guy, the assistant to the chairman. And it's really strange. I don't know. Like a B.
Okay, that's fair.
B. I don't know. It didn't do much for me. Perfect Blue was much more clear and more understandable and better.
Yeah.
You could say it was a perfect blue.
Wow, good one, Tyler.
Yeah. Take the shoes for that.
Now you got 2 of us buzzing you.
It can't be all home runs. Come on.
All right, cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
B for Joseph. Okay, so I really had a great time with this, and I think that the technical achievement of just how creative all the different aspects and bits of these dream sequences were. You know, there's the old man where he's got like the weird tentacle legs moving him along.
Yes.
Which is where
I was very surprised.
Yeah, stolen by Monsters Inc. by Mr. There's like multiple like reality bending sequences. It's insanely creative. You know, short of the reusing of the hallway that the bottom of it wrinkles up.
Yeah.
Short of reusing that over and over again, and the parade kind of being repurposed over and over again for the narrative purpose of it. Besides that, every new time you're introduced into a dream is something bonkers and bananas, and you're like, "What the fuck is happening?" The stuff that distracted me was just all the individual scenes that were pulled into Inception, like the mirror scene.
Oh, yeah.
I was always confused about that in Inception. It was like she's building this world and, you know, he's kind of teaching her how to do it and stuff. And it's like, she closes the thing and there's a window there and then he breaks the window and now the walkway is, you know, mirrored throughout the infinity until they get to the city and stuff. And you're like, it seemed a little out of place, and then they have the scene here, and I'm like, okay, that's where it came from. You know, it's funny just how similar it is, but I don't have any ire towards Nolan for it because Inception is its own 100% story, start to finish. It's just living in this kind of they uses this technology and just a few small scenes, you know, to insert it in. And it's like, if I can be happy to watch a Quentin Tarantino movie full of ripoffs and references from movies that I've never seen before, I can enjoy Inception for a movie that I just saw for the first time, full of references and possible ripoffs from that. All in all, I really liked it. I kind of give it an A-, kind of bordering on a B+. And mainly the detractors for me is that I didn't give a shit about like the overarching story within the dream.
Right.
You know, the villain itself was like, okay, he's a crazy loon and he wants to do these things, but all how you get there was so cool.
Yeah.
So the journey was great. What the destination was like, okay, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
So that is my take on Paprika. And now it is off the wheel and it's time for the Wheel of Destiny.
1 wheel, 8 slots, 3 hosts. This is the Wheel of Destiny.
Okay, Paprika's off the wheel, and we're going to go quite a bit down into the bowels of the comedy Hollywood
is
world.
this the pick that you're describing?
The pick that I'm describing. This is Rocket Man, starring
my God.
Harlan Williams.
Oh my God. This was like a movie I've seen many times.
Really?
Yes.
You were probably peak age, like a little young, maybe like 10 or something like that when it came out?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
I've seen it probably once.
I think I've seen it once or twice.
John Jacob, Jingle Highness Mick.
I saw a couple clips of this on people's like timelines on Twitter and was thinking,
oh man,
that was such a weird movie that at the time I loved and I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I hope that I'm not going to tarnish my memory of it because Harlan Williams is like, he's a really interesting comedian.
Yes.
He's a very frenetic and all over the place and very juvenile in many ways.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
the cop in Dumb and Dumber.
the cop in Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah,
Yes,
drinks the piss beer.
he's also the hitchhiker in Something About Mary, the murdering hitchhiker.
Yeah.
6 minute abs, not 7. 7's the magic number.
It's a Disney movie too.
Yeah, it is. But I just remember the scene where he's farts in the
the
astronaut
suit.
suit.
And he's walking on Mars and he's tethered to
he's like, that wasn't me. And he goes, we're literally the only 2 people on Mars right now. And you can see the fart go through the tube, and it's like, that's so stupid.
Yeah.
We'll see if that holds up, but that'll be for another day. So let me recap the wheel for the new listeners. We have the wheel right here.
Yeah.
You have 8 slots, 2 picks from me, 2 from Joseph, 2 from Tyler, and 2 Patreon picks. And we have You Won't Be Alone from Pete, Rocket Man from Pete, The Hurt Locker from Tyler, American History X from Tyler, The Pianist from Joseph, Stalker from Joseph, and Unfinished Life, Mitch's pick, and Deep Murder, Stu's pick. So let's give this a spin. Let's see what we watch next week.
Oh my God, I'm on the edge of my seat.
I'm edging right now.
You're all teased. You're edging me. Oh, back to back. You won't be alone.
You won't be alone.
You won't be alone.
That's right.
This is a newer movie?
Yeah, I think 2019 maybe, something like that. So let's take a look here. This is starring Noomi Rapace. You Won't Be Alone. 2022. It's actually really new.
Oh, wow.
I could have sworn it was a couple years ago. So this is written and directed by Goran Stolevsky. Who also directed a movie that just came out this year called Housekeeping for Beginners, Of an Age from 2022. You Should Look at Her, a short from 2017, but really not a whole lot. There's only 4. He's only got 4 credits. Actually, no, I'm sorry. That was under a different thing. He's got 13 directing credits, a couple TV series, My Boy Oleg, but You Won't Be Alone. I'm going to read the synopsis from IMDb. In an isolated mountain village in the 19th century Macedonia, a young girl is kidnapped and then transformed into a witch by an ancient spirit. So
Turned into a witch?
I think so. I think, yeah. Have you seen it before?
No, I haven't.
Tyler, you haven't seen this?
I've never even heard of this
Okay.
film before.
So the reason I put this on the wheels is I kind of think that this might be considered like a filmmaker's wet dream classic sort of movie one day, just because the way that the story is told, I've never seen before. And all I'm going to say to make it be a little bit more comprehensible, as you guys watch the movie, is that it's really told without any narrative structure and really without any sort of like exposition. In like a Hollywood type movie, they might say, that's the witch that lives in the cave at the top of the mountain, and legend says that if you touch her, her spirit will be entered into your body and you'll be forced to live a cursed life as a witch for the rest of your life.
This sounds akin to Robert Eggers' The Witch.
No, it's not.
It's just The Witch.
Yeah, it's either The Witch or The Vivitch.
Oh, The Vivitch.
It's actually just The Witch.
I know.
But, I mean, it really, I could feel like this could be a companion piece for The Witch and everything that leads up to it. But
it's because there's a witch involved.
It's got a vibe that's very
like atmospheric.
It looks like
very gritty.
Not just because Noomi Rapace is in it, but it looks like Lamb mixed with the witch.
Yeah, that's a very good astute assessment. Let me see here if it's streaming anywhere. Okay, You Won't Be Alone. Let's see if it's streaming anywhere. Stars. Anybody who's got that can watch it for free. Otherwise, we're going to pay $4.
That's fine.
And yeah, basically, there's a transference that happens with her, and she gets the witch essentially in her, and then it transfers on from there.
She gets the witch like it's a disease.
Kind of.
Like Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like I said, it's not a normal narrative structure, so you're going to watch it, and you're going to be like, what the fuck is happening
What
here?
the crap?
And now she's the main character. No, now this person's the main character. Now this is. So it takes you down a road that is not a normal watch.
Okay.
So that's from 2022. You Won't Be Alone, and that is going to be what we watch next week.
Okay.
Anything else, fellas?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, Joseph, can you hook me up? All right. Thank you to our cool-ass yard duties over on Patreon. That's Javier, listener Steven, Heather Sachs, Ryan, Corbin, and Chris. And if you want to support us financially, visit the Patreon page. It's patreon.com/middleclassfilmclass. Or you can watch us on Twitch, recommend the show to a friend, leave us a 5-star rating on Spotify, Good Pods, or Apple Podcasts. Until next time.
Before you do that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cool ass yard duties.
Yes.
And that's the limit,
Yeah, that's it.
right? So all you other suckers out there, you can't get in.
Yeah, exclusive club.
But in the future, when we have hundreds upon hundreds of Patreon subscribers,
thousands.
yeah, and we're all
There's dozens of
and we
us.
all have quit our jobs and are living in our podcast mansion.
Okay, yeah.
You're not gonna be like, thank you to our cool ass yard duties, and there's like 500 names. Thank you, Javi, Chris, Brian, Brent, Amy, Stephanie, and just like.
It'll be like that scene in The Simpsons where Cletus is introducing his entire family.
Oh, yeah.
Beatrice, Billy, Susie, Cameron, Johnson, Jimmy.
Yes.
Yeah.
All of the Patreon members, everybody's name who contributes to the Patreon is in the show notes. And if you have a link that you want us to link to, like Jack Fitzpatrick is a Patreon member, we link to his YouTube channel. You know, Heather Sachs, she is a cool ass yard duty, but you know, whether she was a Clash Clown or above, she has her name, and she wanted to link to her Twitter page where she's very active, you know, in the show notes. So if you ever want to interact with those people or see who all the other supporters that are in the show notes, you know, we'll read your name when it gets onto the wheel. But every week, the top supporters, the cool SCR duties, get their name checked right on air.
Yeah.
And if you guys want something else too, like Patreon members, hit us up. You know, we're happy to oblige. We're, like Tyler says, we're man of the people.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
And, I mean, anyone say anything like
Anywhere.
Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Anywhere,
Like
anytime.
I mean, we're much more active now on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah.
If you're listening and you're not aware of that, now you are.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, you're right.
Go watch that, comment, like it, share it.
I viewed our TikTok
subscribe.
profile. We've been getting hundreds of views.
Yeah, it's small. It's small potatoes compared to our. Don't be what was it? Don't be a man in the hole. But don't tell a soul.
Don't tell a soul. Don't be a man in the hole.
We got over 160K views on that one. With like hundreds of comments.
Oh, on the TikTok?
On the
Yeah,
actual
broke that
TikTok.
down.
It's
Yeah.
great. It's
You know.
great stuff. Great
So,
stuff. Yeah. So keep
Check
listening.
us out on there.
Yeah. Go to the YouTube page and subscribe. And you know, if you found us through one of those,
We're in HD.
yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, we did. We upgraded the cameras. Hello,
That's right.
everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's all thanks to the Patreon members. So thank you all for that. Until next time. Thank you for following us as we talk about Paprika. Follow us next week as we watch You Won't Be Alone from 2022, unseen gem. In my facebook.com/MCFC podcast is where you find us there. Send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, and follow us on Instagram at Middle Class Film Class and leave us a voicemail, why don't you, at 209-730-6010.
And follow us on Twitter at X at Podcast MCFC and on TikTok at Middle Class Film Class.
All right. See y'all next time.
Yeah, see you next time.
See ya.